Been here for 10 days. Said I'm gonna get them done in 10 days.
Okay, we should be live and broadcasting, so we'll go ahead and call this regular meeting of the Nevada City Council to order on Monday, August 24th, 2020, 6 o'clock. We are meeting in the council chambers, but the meeting is also being streamed onto Zoom due to COVID-19. So with that, we will go ahead and start with a roll call.
Brian Hanson,
Here.
Jason Sampson,
Here.
Dave Nielsen,
Here.
Sandy Eric, Luke Spence,
Here.
Barb Nittman,
Here.
And Sandy did let us know in advance that she was going to be absent this evening. So first item is approval of the agenda.
Move to approve. Second.
Brian, Jason, any discussion? Okay, seeing none, council, please vote. Okay, the agenda is approved. It takes us into a public hearing. The public hearing is on the urban revitalization area amendment for the Southland subdivision. So we'll go ahead and open that public hearing. Karen, did we receive any comments?
no comment.
Okay. Is there anyone here to speak on the public hearing? Karen, did anyone online ask in advance to speak? Okay. So with that, we'll go ahead and close the public forum and move to resolution number 13, 2020-2021, resolution stating intentions to adopt plan amendment for the Nevada urban revitalization area.
Move to approve resolution number 13.
Second.
Jason and Dane, discussion. Council, please vote. Okay, that is approved, which takes us to the consent agenda. Any item may be removed for separate consideration.
Move to approve.
Okay, Dane, is that Luke? Okay. I lose my directional sound ability in these boxes. Okay. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, council, please vote. Okay, that's approved, which takes us into the public forum, which is time set aside for comments from the public on topics of city business other than those listed on the agenda. No action may be taken. And Karen, did anyone request to speak in the public forum?
No.
Okay, is there anyone here to speak in the public forum? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public forum, move to old business. There's old business A, ordinance number 1012, 2020-2021, an ordinance amending the zoning map of the city of Nevada, Iowa by amending the zoning classification of parcels of land owned by Charles E. Peebles and located within the corporate limits of the city of Nevada, Iowa from LC Limited Commercial District to R1 Low Density Single Family Residential District, third and final reading.
Approve.
Second.
Okay, Luke and Barb, any discussion? Okay, seeing none, council, please vote. Okay, that is approved. Takes us to old business B, resolution number 15, 2020-2021, a resolution to approve the minor subdivision for Indian Ridge Plat 7.
Move to approve.
Second.
Brian, Jason, discussion. Seeing none, council, please vote. Okay, that is approved. Takes us to item C, opening public facilities. We have topics to address there.
Jordan, what were the hours that you had mentioned previously that would give you sufficient time to clean?
10 to 2.
The county admin building is still closed, correct?
Yep.
On their agenda tomorrow, I think I saw, but
Yeah, I just got some license plates the other day. They're still closed.
What's the current data show for Story County?
I do not have the exact figures, but I know they're steady at around 7 cases a day as of last week. that might be changing depending on the students getting back and everything, though. I'll know more on Thursday evening.
Did I read that they're opening a testing facility in Ames sometime this week?
Not just an hour or so ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna do it after business hours, so to speak, to make it more conducive to people that have to work during the day.
Yeah, and it'll be open on the 26th.
My opinion is I think we should just leave it the way it is for, another cycle for meetings. There's been a lot of it going around the school, football starting and stuff.
A lot of it, 2?
Well,
That's only 2.
what do you mean two? They quarantined 14 kids on
Yeah,
the
but
freshman
it's
football
2
team.
people tested positive.
Doesn't matter.
That's not a lot.
Affected 14. I think it's gonna get worse before it gets better.
That's 2 before school started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this,
I just think it's gonna get worse before it gets better. If it gets better in 2 weeks, I might change my mind, and maybe I'm a little close to it because my kid was one of them that got exposed by someone that was sick, so he's, so their kids are missing the first week of school already. And, that's just my opinion. I don't think 2 more weeks is gonna hurt. I'm with Dane and Jason both have said, let's talk about it every meeting. Let's leave it on there. I agree with that, but unless some of staff's got a heartburn with it, that they think it's affecting their job and the services we're providing, then, I'll rethink it, but that's kind of my opinion of it right now. And I tested negative, by the way, everyone, no worries. It's not a pleasant test.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
are we just talking about this facility?
Any
Or-
city facility.
So is the senior center already open?
Senior center has been
I'm really hot.
The senior center has been open by appointment only.
Okay.
Chief, is that how you guys been doing it? If someone needs to come in, they're making an appointment with you guys?
Most of the time, but not every time. So if someone shows up, we'll talk to them and find out what they need to take care of.
Okay,
Because they're about stuff. Not necessary, prefer, but not necessary.
okay.
So 4.7% for the county right now, 14 days.
So we have Gates Hall open. We're running it out. People can dance on the dance floor and get all up in each other's business and perspire like crazy and just spread this thing all over the place. And we're okay with that, but we're not okay with a few people coming into our city hall lobby. That's what I'm hearing right now.
That's why I was asking what facilities we were talking about, because.
Well,
I'd heard
that makes
this
sense,
was
but I
open
mean,
too.
it's another city facility that we're talking about.
And I
It just doesn't
understand,
really seem like there's a consistent number of thoughts there.
Yeah, I understand that the library gets to make their board will make that decision. And I thought with the senior center, that might be the same case, that they too have an advisory board. So I didn't know if that decision had been made apart from us, which if that's what it says that they can do, please let them do that. But those folks would be the ones that I'm protecting in other places because they could be at most risk.
I don't know what the conversation has been there. Is there any staff that's had conversation regarding the senior center with the senior board?
No, they have not met. The seniors are not actually meeting over there, only for coffee, morning coffee, 1 day a week
Wednesday.
they're doing.
But we talked about, this is a little bit for the next item on the agenda, but we talked about with SCORE, the people coming from out of state and out of the region. At some point, we talked about like a number of people. That probably didn't get that into there. Dane, we crossed out part of the resolution last time in regards of where people are coming from, not so much the size, or we want to change that? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm just pointing out the inconsistency of not letting a few people in here and then letting large groups into Gates Hall, which frankly, that's, again, those are people making decisions, whether or not they're good ones, they are decisions they're making. And so I just think it's really inconsistent that we're letting large groups into Gates Hall, but we can't let a few people in the lobby here. I have a hard time reconciling that. I'm not saying Gates is good or bad. There's a large inconsistency there. And I've been saying for months that, we should be opening our city hall lobby. So obviously probably in the minority in that opinion here, but I mean, the fact of the matter is this virus is here. It's not going away. 2 weeks from here or from now, 2 months from now, 2 months ago, it's here. It's not like we're still worried about crossing state lines because like multiple people on my Facebook feed now have it. So, it's here and it's here to stay until whenever there's a vaccine or whatever. And what is our end game here? We have the same conversation every 2 weeks, which again, yeah, Brian, you're right. I like that we're keeping that discussion alive, but we keep saying the same things over and over. And I think we all just kind of think what we think and nothing's really changing. The virus is still here and we're still talking about this every 2 weeks. And I'm frankly kind of tired of it. I'm going to make a motion to reopen City Hall from 10 to 2 every day.
Second.
Okay, well, we have a motion and a second regarding opening City Hall from 10 to 2 every day. Discussion.
Oh, and can I amend that to say also with a requirement for face coverings?
I assume you mean Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday, yes. Sorry, we're not going to do Saturdays and
As long as
Sundays.
Jason's okay with that.
Yeah. Second the amended motion.
Discussion.
I mean, we're paying to keep the lights on. We're paying to keep people working here. I mean, are you worried about the abilities, Jordan, to have people in here safely? Okay.
Any other discussion? And we can vote on that. And then if there's another motion somebody wants to make about another facility, we can make sure we're done with all of our facility discussions. So council, please, are you guys ready for electronic? Can they do that? Okay, council, please vote. And then I assume if they want to talk about another one and have a motion, that'll have to be voiced. Okay, so that carried for City Hall Monday through Friday, 10 to 2. Okay, other facilities that you want to talk about? Okay.
I mean, I think library have to make their own decision there.
Yeah,
I think senior center really needs to make their own decision.
Right.
I think Parks and Rec have kind of made that decision a little bit, if we're having people at Gates Hall, I think. I think that decision's been made, so I don't know that we need to talk about that.
I know there was some questions about the seniors. So if their board wishes to meet again, do they have to come to us for approval, or can they resume meeting without council approval?
Well, technically, who's been deciding what to do is the senior group.
Okay.
They're the ones that have been doing it. It hasn't.
So we would allow rentals, but they're choosing not to
They've been kind
utilize
of
it.
doing their own.
Okay.
thing.
Just making sure it wasn't something that we had to consider.
I mean, so what's that really leave for city? We're letting people in the parks, so that's kind of been made, so to speak. I don't think there's a lot of foot traffic at the city garage, is there, Jeremy? No, so fire station probably the same way. I mean, you don't have a lot of foot traffic in there, do you?
At this point, we've not allowed public into the fire station.
I think that's fair if they want to do that out there. I mean, I don't know that we need to, I don't know what you guys think as far as having some sort of resolution that, like I said, I doubt if there's a ton of foot traffic at the fire station anyway, is there?
No.
And PD's windowed up just like the front desk is out here. So I think that's probably pretty decent, especially with mask requirement that we put on it.
And the motion didn't have a time to start. So do you want to leave that to Jordan's discretion for when they're ready?
Yeah, I think Jordan can make that call.
Yeah.
when he thinks they're ready to go. So I don't know what really leaves, what city facilities it leaves. Really isn't anything left, really.
Yeah, most of our other facilities, like you said, have other boards that are involved and, want to respect their.
Do we need to catch up with Gates Hall and offer the senior center? I mean, are we, if the senior center is waiting on us, really, do we need to offer them a chance to make that on their decision, or do we want them to come to us? And should we catch up with Gates Hall? If Gates Hall's open? Because they'll be balloting there in less than 2 weeks, I assume. Aren't they going to use Gates Hall as a polling place? Because that's a school board one.
Yeah, I think we
We
got
won't
to
meet again before they're going to be in
the
Gates.
senior center kind of get in play. They're the high risk demographic in this.
Right.
So I don't think that I think we need to let them weigh in, so to speak.
Okay. Sounds like there's no other facilities, so we can move on to the next item. Discussion appropriate follow-up on 30-day review of previous resolution number 47C revised 2020-2021, a resolution taking appropriate emergency measures during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, no, let's leave it.
I'm assuming, hearing no discussion, nobody needs to see changes and we can move on. Okay, so we will go on to new business. Discussion appropriate follow-up on the wage and salary study proposals. So Jordan can probably lay that out in front of you.
Yeah, so we had a total of 6 that submitted proposals for the wage study. We met last week. The development committee met last week and we went over and discussed all of the proposals. All of us kind of decided on Austin Peters Group was the top front runner. It really captured everything that we were wanting to achieve. But yeah, the Austin Peters Group was by far the best one that we came across. And second kind of was in between a couple of different groups.
Yeah, I'll just echo what Jordan said. I'm on that committee, and they had the good price point. They weren't the cheapest, but they weren't the most expensive. Had a very good turnaround time, and just had all the bells and possible whistles that we would want for that study to make sure that we do it right this time and get it done and get it done correctly.
I'll say, having read through 6 big packets, I was worried it was going to take us a while in that meeting and everybody already had the same one ranked number 1.
Yeah,
so it was a short
kinda
meeting
nice.
after preparing myself for.
You know, I read through what we had in our packet a few times. Did I miss the time frame part in this proposal?
Like 24 weeks, I think.
Was that what it was?
Everybody else was.
I must, if it's in there, I must have overread it because I went through it 2 or 3 times thinking, not for sure.
Page 68 of the packet, Brian.
Yeah, timelines on 67 and 68.
Okay. All right. I see they got the breakdown. I just wondered if, if that's kind of.
How soon can they start?
Jordan Barb was asking how soon they can start.
How soon can they start?
I believe we'll start. Sorry, I keep shutting that off.
Just leave it on.
I believe they'll start about a week after we let them know. They'll want to get some information. I would guess sooner rather than later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you make a motion?
We don't have a motion.
I did
yet.
not make a motion, but I would make a motion to approve the, what is their name again?
Austin Peters Group.
Austin Peters Group proposal for the wage study.
I'll second.
So Jason and then Dane, discussion. Seeing none, council, please vote. That's approved. Takes us to new business B, resolution number 16, 2020-2021, resolution approving the facility use agreement with the Nevada Soccer Club. And Tim's going to come forward and preface that. Looks like you have to probably turn the mic on up there. I don't see it, the red
It's
button
on.
on it.
It on?
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yep, you're good.
Okay. This is a agreement we've had in place for quite a number of years with the soccer club. We also have one with the school district for sharing of facilities. We review it every year, and the last time we updated it, I think, was 2017. It was the last time changes were made to it. Really, there's 3 changes. We changed the practice area. Aaron added some language dealing with COVID, and then we adjusted the fee structure, the price for that. And that's the biggest change, obviously. It's quite a jump, but the attempt is just to try and recover our real costs that we have invested in this. So I visited with their past president before he left office as president of the club. He was on board with it, understood everything. Sat and talked extensively with their current president. He's totally on board with it. And, to provide high quality playing surface like they have takes extra time, takes extra supplies, takes extra work. Their desire is to have good playing surface. We desire to provide that for them. And we're just attempting to try and recover our real costs for that. So I'd be happy to answer any questions outside of the information that I put in there for you.
How much of this work would be done to those fields if there wasn't soccer being played on it?
If there wasn't,
Like mowing.
once a week,
We'd be mowing it no matter what, right?
well, probably once a week, once every 10 days, probably. But during the season, we do it 3 times a week. And that just helps, it just provides a better surface. We don't end up with a lot of dead grass and thatch and things like that on there. It's on a good fertility plan with 4 to 5 applications a year. We do weed control regardless, so I didn't put that in there. That's not part of that.
Is that the same with the fertilizing and trash and stuff? Would that be stuff that we do normally?
No, we wouldn't fertilize that. If it was just regular park space, we wouldn't fertilize it. Well, not like we do, no. Nope, we would just probably do weed control like we do in the rest of the parks. But our athletic fields, we put on a program. So the trash, stuff, that would be less just because, if they weren't playing, there'd be less traffic and less trash produced. But because they're there, it generates quite a bit. So it does take work. And it's every weekend too. Saturday and Sunday, both.
So had the increase, it's obviously probably be passed on to the families and kids playing. Yeah, concern me a little bit.
Their board is good with it. That's all I can tell you. We've met, we've discussed it. They totally understand it, and they're on board with that. And we started these discussions, back in May. So.
Well, if it's just a matter of recovering our costs for it, I don't see anything wrong with increasing our price.
Yeah. And there are a number of things in there that, we're not figuring into that dollar amount as well. And that's noted on that sheet under notes as well. So, we're trying to be very fair,
right,
and upfront with them. So, and I think they understand that and they're good with that.
Okay.
If we were, that's like half of the cost right there. If we were already going to be mowing it once a week or so, no matter what, should we be charging them for 2 mowings additional rather than all 3?
We wouldn't be, if we were just going to mow it once, like the rest of the parks, we'd be cutting it a lot higher than what we are. But we do mow those shorter to provide a better, nicer, playing field. So it's not just, go over and cut it at 3.5 inches or whatever it is. They're cut lower specifically because it's a playing surface.
We'd still be mowing it once a week no matter what.
If necessary. If necessary, it depends what the, obviously weather and things, but they're irrigated. So, and that's one of the other things that I didn't figure in there is any of the irrigation. So, there's things in there that, we're not figuring into that price. So again, I think we're being very fair, and I think we're being very upfront with them and their understanding of that.
I'll move to
Questions?
approve.
I'll move to approve option 1.
Second.
Okay, motion by Dane, second by Jason. Any further discussion? Seeing none, council, please vote. Okay, that passes. Takes us to item C, resolution number 17, 2020-2021, a resolution amending and approving the fee appendix to the city code.
Move to approve.
Barb and Luke, discussion? Okay, seeing none, council, please vote.
Need some lights. Thanks, Sean.
Nice work.
Okay, that is approved. Takes us to resolution number 18, 2020-2021, a resolution authorizing the request for reimbursement of eligible COVID-19 related expenses from the state of Iowa.
Move to approve.
Second.
Jason and Brian, discussion.
Any idea how much?
I did see a state number they listed for every community. It was like 150,000. Does that sound right, Karen?
What are?
They did like a per capita breakdown for what every city was eligible for.
But
It was something like 100.
we don't know how much Nevada is going to be getting though. And we'll have, we'll be able to turn it into the FEMA and then as well as CARES Act. So we'll try to be able to recuperate as much
Do
as
you
we
want a
possibly
public
can.
forum or was there an agenda item?
Say something. I want to speak about something.
Okay, was it one of the items though on the agenda or was it something that's general?
It's not on the agenda, no.
Okay, then yeah, as soon as we're done with this, we'll go ahead and
Yeah.
let you speak.
Because I think the pot was like 100 some million, wasn't it? 120 million or something. 25. Yeah.
It's limited by the reimbursement that we need though, right? We're not getting X number of dollars. Don't we have to provide?
No, we have to provide figures and show what we are trying to get reimbursed for. And then they'll give us a percentage of what we'll be able to be reimbursed for. And then the remainder amount we should be able to take to the CARES Act and see if we can get some funding from the CARES Act. Yep.
So Jordan, is like this kind of stuff qualify? Like when we do things like this, extra cleaning, stuff like that, all covers in that? Okay.
Yeah, that should be qualified. Karen and I have been talking to Keith a lot about what's qualified and what's not, and we're still kind of wondering what exactly will be and what won't be.
We'll wait for you to turn it off and I'm gonna, no, just kidding.
That's why I had my hand right there. I was holding, I was watching.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, council, please vote. Approved, which we're going to backtrack, if you will allow me, and go back and reopen the public forum for Bob Lowe. So if you want to step up to the microphone there, Bob, and give your name and address for the record, and then address the council.
Yeah, Bob Lowe. I live at 1410 11th Street. And I'm concerned about one of my neighbors using his garage for public use to make money, and he lives on 10th Street, and I don't believe that is commercial zone to run a business, I would say. And that's what he's doing. He's running a business out of his garage in the alley, part-time business. And if it's not commercial zone, I can't see where he can be doing that.
What kind of business is he, like
Automotive,
automotive?
yeah. Repair cars, the trucks.
And do you know what address that is?
No, I don't know what it is.
Can you provide your address, sir, and then we can have city staff look into it?
I can't hear you.
Oh, you got it, okay.
It's probably around 1410 on 10th Street. It's right behind his house, right next to one of our employees' properties.
You got his address there too.
Next to Sean's house.
But does council want Sean to look at it?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, we'll have Sean Cole, with Planning and Zoning, take a look at it and see if it qualifies under code or not.
Yes, he told me, plus some of my other neighbors, when he applied for the permit, well, he told us that he was going to do it as a business and charge, but he told the city, whoever he dealt with, that he wasn't going to do that. Now he turned right around and doing that. I mean, I've never seen him take any money, but there's cars come up and down the alley maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and on weekends, Jeremy, he paved rocked the alley for him because it was muddy. And he complained about it, and he rocked it so he could have the use of the alley for his business. And some of the neighbors are concerned about the traffic up and down the alley.
Yeah, we'll have Sean take a look at it and see.
Sean, when you figure out what you find, can you email us and let us know your findings?
Okay. Yep.
I mean, if he wants to get a permit, and if it's commercial zone, which it isn't, I don't know how he could get a permit to work in his garage. I mean, he bought a big fancy hoist, and he put a big fancy garage up in order to do this. And I can't see how the city let him put a garage up like he did, because it's bigger than his house almost. It's like 17 foot high, and I don't know, it's 20 some feet long and 20 wide. I mean, it stands out like a sore thumb in the neighborhood.
Yeah, we'll take a look and then Sean will report back to council what he finds.
Okay, but I think it needs to be addressed somehow.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he'll go out and take a look and see if it complies with code, and he'll report back to council.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so that will take us into reports.
Just have a couple of things. Last Friday, I sent out an email pertaining to our clothing policy, and I asked if you guys would be able to pick out a shirt. I did have an email asking about colors, and I think that was a good question on whether or not the council decides on choosing one color or how they go about that. Our city colors are white, gray, black, a dark navyish blue, and a green very similar to Tim's shirt, which is a neon green. What color would you call that, Tim?
Yeah.
Okay. Or neon green. So when you guys send those emails back, can you put a color that you would prefer, the top 3, and we will decide what the top one is and choose that color for all council members, and as well as your size too, please. And if you have a particular brand, that would be even better. And then the second thing that I was going to talk to you about is a special meeting. We have a business in town that is applying for a challenge grant, and they have asked the city for some support. And what I proposed was $10,000 as well as a 5-year tiered tax abatement, which would give them 75%, 60%, and then 50% for the following 3 years. The latter is something that we typically do for businesses in the community as well as a state code. And as far as the before mentioned, the 10,000, this is something that Karen and I have discussed about in the future creating for all businesses if they apply for a grant that's very similar to the challenge grant. So one of the big components of this grant is they want city support, and that is why I proposed the amount that I did, as well as the tiered taxing. So my question is, would we be able to get a special meeting on Friday, because their due date is the 2nd of September, which I believe is next Tuesday, and we don't have another council meeting for a while.
What time Friday are you thinking?
Whatever's most convenient for all of you. If it's early in the morning, we can do a 6:30, a 7.
10 p.m.
What?
10 p.m.
10 p.m.
I'm not even joking.
You don't want me
My
at 10
day is
p.m. Friday.
Okay. If we have to do it at 10 p.m., then I'm okay with doing it at 10 p.m.
And
Hopefully
Zoom would
the
be an
football
option
game's over.
too.
Zoom, yeah, Zoom would be, we could do a Zoom meeting, special meeting.
Or that way folks don't have to leave work.
I just got a call football game Friday night. It's a home game.
I gotta go to the football game.
We can't do morning.
In
Zoom
between
morning.
What time would you
about
get here?
noon. I'm either like lunchtime or 10 p.m.
I'm okay with either.
I'd be all right.
If we can,
lunchtime.
we can zoom it, then that makes it easier. I mean, we'll work it out, but if we
I
zoom
work retail by myself. I am completely at the will of people walking in my door. So I guess I will just make it iffy on if I can actually really be there or be paying attention if we do anything during the day.
So noon on Friday?
You guys,
What time?
Noon.
Noon,
Friday?
12, does that work?
Could we do 1? I mean, does that change anything for anybody else?
That doesn't change it for me. I'm fine with 1.
Okay, 1 o'clock would actually work for me because I at least am closed during that time.
Is there documentation you can send to us in
You're just waiting
advance?
to haul me up off
What was
the
that?
floor.
Is there documentation you can send to us in advance?
Yep, I will be, so I have a meeting with John Danos over at Dorsey and Whitney tomorrow at 11 o'clock, so we can figure out the wording. I was just asked this morning, so that's why I'm kind of fumbling along with this, so I apologize for that. But I will be talking with John tomorrow morning and trying to figure out how we can get this document. This will be a resolution of intent that way. So I'm hoping that because of that, it'll be shorter and more sweet to the point. That way we can get it done.
so Karen will send out a Zoom panelist thing for you. Okay. Anything else, Jordan? Council, anything for Jordan?
I do not have anything unless I can answer any questions for you.
I'm still, sorry, I'm just going slow. Can we have some sort of idea of what this might look like over time? You know, as you said that you'd like us to put us in the position that we're able to support businesses that are going to go for a grant, this grant or another grant.
Mm-hmm.
If that happens every year for the next 2 years or in the next 10 years, what happens with tax abatement? And I mean, I'd like to see.
You'd like, so you'd like to see some sort of an agreement or contract that we would be.
I just want to see a worksheet that says, okay, if somebody on Main Street applies for this grant and would receive it, every year for the next 2 years or 10 years, or how often, I don't know what in the Main Street, system, how often the challenge grant or one like it comes up. But over time, I just want a worksheet. So say business X is doing this year, and 3 years from now, business X does this, and we're doing the same 10,000 or whatever.
So just document
And
the
to see,
changes.
so what happens, to tax abatement with all the other things we're doing, do we still have room for housing development? Can we still, as they sell off South Glen, there's going to be tax abatement opportunities for individuals. And I just don't want us to be, clear on the other end and not having, at the same time that we're, going to pave Lincoln Way, and those things are different, but I'm just like, so I'm looking for income, what it's going to do to effectively to our income at that point in time, and
So this is going to be,
starts to pile up.
yeah, so this is going to be pulled out of our, correct me if I'm wrong, Karen, but I believe we discussed our local option tax. That is where we will be pulling the money out of.
That's where we originally were kind of looking
Okay.
at using local option money in the beginning until our TIF was a little better.
And these grants are super competitive, so the chance of us getting the same one anytime soon would be pretty low. There's a Catalyst grant as well that's out there.
Yeah,
So there is another grant, but I don't think this would be one where we would see it over and over and over.
I just was thinking that,
And the abatement's off of the new valuation, so we wouldn't lose anything per se
okay,
than what's in our current budget. So there's a
Okay.
10 grand we'd find, and then there would be abated off the new valuation. So
okay,
like if it's a downtown building and they redid the whole top floor,
then it's going
they're
to,
paying the same still for the bottom. It's just what they do upstairs that would be abated for that period of time.
okay, that's helpful, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
What,
thank you.
why is it 10,000 magic number? Why is it a 5,000 or 15,000? Where did we come up with 10? Just we grabbed it, or is it a matching thing with this grant they're trying to get? Or, I mean, does it hurt them if we give them 5, or help them if we give them 10? That's where I'm getting at. Where'd the 10,000 come from? Because we used to have and I know it's a little different, Brett, and you might have to help me remember the name. of
RIF
that. Remember
program.
that committee we had for the matching?
We had the RIF
Yes,
program
RIF.
that is no longer
'Cause-
legal, and Karen's made sure she tells us that. So we have to find other ways to bring that back.
Right.
Like local option tax.
Right. So my whole thing is, if we're going to do this, I think we need to get some sort of process that, I mean, I know there's maybe not another option. I mean, not option isn't the word I'm looking for, but there might not be another business that's applying for the same grant. But if there is these other grants that you guys are just talking about, do we have a ceiling of the money we're just going to match? I mean, that's why I said, where did the 10,000 come from? Are we prepared to do 5 more people walk in the door, so we're going to throw 50,000 at it this year? Or does that make sense? That it just is it random? That's what I'm getting at. Or, I mean,
I think they're
why is it 10,000?
I think there are kind of two things. So one, I think there's a desire to bring back a more local program like the RIF program. We just don't know what that's going to look like yet. So when this came up, I said to Jordan, why don't we structure it in a way that this is what we'll be talking about is for a grant. So that's different than just somebody wants to redo their facade and they're not going after a big grant. So that makes it a little bit different because it's for those special IEDA economic development grants. So it's not like we'll have 12 building owners wanting to do a similar project. And I think as far as the number goes, it was to be competitive because they tried for the Catalyst grant. And you guys, if you recall, had a letter of support or a resolution for that, but it wasn't as competitive enough as the other cities. So basically Main Street lost out on the Catalyst grant because the city council support wasn't as high as the other communities. So it's trying to get in that ballpark of where they were for those
So
grants.
is it a matching thing?
There's
it's more like
there is a matching component,
So, I
but
mean,
there's
we give
not
them
an
10
actual amount to match.
So if we commit to 10, are they just gonna, and maybe we need to talk about this more, but I'm asking right now because everyone will want to know. If they get this grant and it's only 2,000, we still give them
Oh, it's more.
10.
It's 75,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
their
there's
grant amount.
no partial grant for that. It's 75 or nothing for them.
I think so.
Okay.
I
So,
think the
so
catalyst
then
is
if they
100.
don't get it, then we're still not giving them the 10. We're just, that's how it's worded. Okay.
We will still offer the tax abatement if she continues to do that,
Okay.
that plan,
Okay.
that project,
Yep.
but not the 10,000. No, the 10,000 is contingent on the grant.
Okay.
The basic
figured
goal of
so,
that is
but-
to be competitive enough to leverage the state funding.
And
That's the big dollars.
they said that they would be more than happy to present the idea at the special meeting as well, which I was planning on having them do that.
Okay. And I know I'll have some more questions, but that's what I got in my head right now.
Using the local option tax for this, whether or not with those revenues probably going down, are we gonna have that money to give now or in the future with?
You want to talk about what the local option, we just got our estimates.
All
for
right.
Local option.
Yeah.
And they are actually more than what they've been in the past.
A lot more.
They're more?
They're more.
Oh, wow.
I did email him, because I was skeptical. And Joel at the State Department, and he emailed me back and he said, that's their estimate. They took into consideration COVID and
That's counterintuitive.
just a little optimistic.
Yeah, it's fireworks. That's getting rich on everyone.
Well, and does some of council want to come here on Friday and those that can't because of work? Zoom in?
Yeah, that's
You
fine.
want that as
I
an
might be able
option
to
to do the hybrid?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll hybrid. Those that can come here can come here. Those that can't, we'll have on Zoom.
Perfect.
So 1 PM, correct? Okay, perfect. I will let them know.
Figured that'd be more conducive to Main Street presenting if. Okay, anything else?
Can they bring some of those great baked cookies they make?
You're assuming it's Abby?
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
He wants cookies.
I'll ask Abby to see if she can bring those for the meeting.
As long as they're not worth more than $3.65 a piece.
No,
Yeah, is that-
I want a cookie, not a
As long as it's
bread.
under $3.65, it's fine.
Maybe everybody's
It's
gonna be
$2.99. I just want one.
It's $3.60.
3-year-old or something.
It's under $4.
Anyway,
$2.99, but we'll do $3.65. How's
I
that?
don't remember.
so continuing on for reports, are we done with Jordan? Okay, so for my report, I think one was, I'm sure you all saw the open burning proclamation for the disaster debris goes through, I think the 28th. Okay, Ray's nodding his head at me. So they say ask our fire chief what would be most appropriate to have in the proclamation, and that's what's in the proclamation. So that just will allow folks to get rid of the small stuff so they're not piling it up for Jeremy's crews if they can get rid of that. So
That is Friday.
Do we,
what's that?
That is Friday.
Yeah.
So we're going to enforce something after that.
Because there's a regular open burning that happens in October. So if folks still have stuff, unless there's a strong desire across the community where folks haven't had a chance to do it and they can't wait till October, then we would just allow it to close and wait till October when it's normally in season.
is there any concern
I don't
about
think
this
there's
week?
been a lot of it. I mean, we've had some complaints about the cities
Yeah.
burning, but I don't think people understand the magnitude of the debris that's there because you can't just pour water on it at night to put it out.
Right.
It's mountains of ash. So
No concerns about the amount of heat this week and dryness that's already there?
Nah. No.
that way the public watching online can hear your wisdom.
At this point, no, we're kind of monitoring things. So far, we haven't really had a lot of complaints other than the city one. But I mean, you're talking a 30-foot long pile of ash that's 12 feet high. I mean, I don't think people realize the amount of trees that went down. Every block was affected. So I do believe that the efforts of Jeremy and the DOT folks were phenomenal, and that has reduced the amount of refuge that's still in the yards. So we don't really see a lot of big burning that's taking place. Some of it out in the county is taking place, and now they're talking about doing the same thing we did and burning tree debris. So at this point, I think you let it close on the 28th. I think the fall season comes up. I really have not seen a lot of problems with local burning.
Okay. And I also wanted to thank all of our staff. Did an incredible job from the day of the disaster, from the public safety perspective, with all the fires literally that they were putting out. And then Public Works and Parks and everybody did a phenomenal job. And want to thank the state too. The DOT was in town and they were a big help. But I think it's phenomenal when you drive around now, thinking about what it looked like 2 weeks ago. I mean, and yeah, you can tell there are places you're like, oh, it's super sunny here and the trees are gone, but there's not mess all over. And so that's a testament to everyone. And also the community members themselves have been incredible to watch, helping each other. So that was when ABC5 called and said, hey, we want to do a story on Nevada's community cleanup. So we took them to Evergreen Lane and they came to town and had a real nice story there. So just really proud of everyone in the community for helping up and helping neighbors, and folks that knew others that needed help were sending names in of their elderly neighbors that needed some help. And so we were able to take care of a bunch of those. And that's about all I have for report, because other than storm, I haven't thought about too much else. Healthy Hometown still moving and all that stuff. So, okay, council reports.
I'll echo your comment about the community and specifically want to give a girl to Marlis and the mayor for the work they did this weekend, organizing those groups of folks that went out and cleaned several properties around the northern part of town. I thought that was really encouraging. Friday night, I think there's probably 25 people out there working, and that's remarkable. So major credit to you two for your work on that. This Saturday is the Lincoln Highway Dash. Races at 8 o'clock. We're actually still looking for a couple of course volunteers. So if any council members want to be out and be a part of that, let me know after the meeting. We'd certainly love to have you. Also, we probably at some point should have a conversation about coffee going forward. And if we're going to have those in person at gatherings, there is space there. I don't know if that needs to be an official agenda conversation piece or not, but typically we've been doing the second Tuesday. So now we're getting up and coming close to what would be the next one.
For the second Tuesday of September, Main Street wants to do their 1-year anniversary / Main Street project ribbon cutting for 6th Street opening / introduce Jordan. So I think they're going to coordinate coffee for that day. So I think we got September taken care of.
Cool.
And just FYI, I talked to Evie about doing coffee with the candidate, and gatherings is not available for September or October, I believe. The patio is and farm grounds is, but gatherings is booked pretty solid, I believe, for groups, from what she told me. So
I think there's a desire of some folks to do the in-person ones. Some folks are more comfortable asking questions when it's not streamed on the internet. So
the online ones I think had more viewers, but I think
there's a place for both formats. Right. So we'll
Yeah.
continue to balance.
It'd be
both.
great if we could do both.
The regulars miss us.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else from council? Okay, and we'll go back to Ray.
Just a couple of things here. The public safety department met after the disaster, and we did a after action debrief. A couple of things that came to light in light of the disaster. The fire station does not have an emergency generator. So after our first house fire, getting called to our second house fire, we had no way of filling our air packs up. So that we were not aware of until it came to light. We had plenty, things worked out fine. One of the other things we noticed when people started making a rush to the gas stations, that it was not going to be possible to wait in line with 50 cars for fuel for emergency vehicles. So we talked about the potential of having a fuel supply for the city, potentially at a gated area, one of our facilities, so that we had emergency supply of fuel. And so those were some really good discussions that came about. I thought the computers in the vehicle proved very critical in this case. When I was watching stop signs bend in the wind, I knew that this was going to be bad, and we were able to access our fire manager program and send an alert out to everyone. That generated 40 out of 48 of our responders showed up. So there were 4 that were already attached to the county and the city and stuff. So we thought that was really good numbers, and it helped get us the folks that we needed there. We did not plan on our temporary radio system not working. So that was certainly a challenge that we had for about 48 hours. But the crews and the police department and everybody established a headquarters at the fire station. And I don't think that we could have done better with this thing. We had crews assigned to different sectors of the city. When one of our cases, our UHP truck was driving around and found a house fire. Nobody knew about it. It wasn't called in yet. Crews were just driving by, assessing the area. So I think the response went quite well. I'm very happy with the number of people and how we all integrated. But it did present some challenges for us. We had 28 calls in 72 hours. Normally in that time frame, we would have 6. So, and of those 28 calls, 4 were structure fires, which require a lot of resources. One of the other things to consider, some of our outlying mutual aid companies were handling their own disasters, so they weren't able to come to us. And it did work out well with Colo. Colo came in, Gilbert, a few others when we had some of the larger events. But overall, I thought the first phone call that we made was to Jeremy, the street public works superintendent. And the first thing that they did was start pushing trees out of the road. And so I thought that probably changed the events of the day for all of us. So a lot of credit really belongs to Jeremy and the actions of his crew, because I think that really provided a different dynamic for what we had going on. And so with that, the other thing that I wanted to bring up is one of our members is day 14 of COVID, has been cleared to return back to service. And our frustrations are the inconsistencies of the guidance being provided from county to county. We were told to quarantine our entire fire department. That's not going to happen. And then we got down to, well, if anybody was around them for 15 minutes, they should quarantine. And then in another place that I work, in a larger county, they're told to go to work and wear a mask. And so our frustrations are that there's not consistent messaging across the board when we have exposures with coworkers or anything like that. None of the fire department members were sick, had any symptoms other than that one member. And that member had had symptoms since March and tested negative twice. So the frustration is that we have to kind of use our head a little bit and do what grandma always told us to do, and that's wash our hands, stay away from people, and eat healthy. So I think that's kind of the approach that we've been taking at the fire station. It seems to be working, and we'll continue to assess in month 6 where we go from there. But we continue to disinfect our vehicles. We continue to enforce no public coming to the fire station. We continue to enforce hand sanitizing, and we are taking precautions that keep people out of close proximity with each other. And so that seems to be working. We look forward to getting our folks back on the calls, and at this point we just drive on. So thank you.
Ray, are you still doing the September 11th climb?
Yeah, we have precautions in place with VirBio. We'll be doing temperature monitoring. We're also going to be doing staged climbs. So we'll space people out and then set them up at certain times. They'll actually go up one tower, go across the top, and then come down a different tower. So at no time are they passing back and forth. And at this point, we have 50 that have signed up. I anticipate we'll probably have 100 by the time it's closed. And then we'll do a outdoor public tribute like we did last year in front of the fire station with a piece of the 9/11 steel. Thank you.
Council Mayor, first I'd like to apologize. I didn't get my report done in time to get it to
I
Karen.
don't know what you've been doing.
I remembered it at Friday, like at 8 o'clock at night, but as everybody knows, since the 10th, it's been a whirlwind. I don't have any separate department reports because we all been working as one, the parks, the wastewater, water, streets. Everybody's been working to clean up cemeteries, the streets, along with the DOT. For 23 years, I was on a giving end of the DOTs, helping towns with disasters. And this is the first time I was on a receiving end. And I'm glad I had a relationship with the people that I had to come in and help. We hauled a lot of trees in a week. I mean, after I come back from State Fair on that Saturday, I drove down the streets and went, some of these streets don't look like anything ever happened. But it took 6 loaders 4 hours to make one path through every street in town, Monday afternoon. So I want to thank everybody for helping us help them. We all came together. It's a bad thing that it takes something like this to realize how well we work together. And I'm proud to be a part of it. We had more candy at the street shop than I think Sam's Club has. People just kept bringing candy and cookies and sandwiches and just everything. So, like Grandma said, eat healthy. We've been eating healthy. So that's about all I have. Has anybody got any questions for me?
Please pass along our thanks to your entire staff.
I do.
We know they've been working hard.
Every time, every kudos we get, I print off and show the guys. I mean, it goes a long ways. They're getting frustrated now, still picking up. Some people are abusing it. Bringing more trees. Cutting more stuff down. But we just got to keep cleaning up. There's a lot of people that still have backyards full, like you guys helped this weekend. There's a lot of debris. I wish we would have counted truckloads. It would have. I wish we would have.
Every time I went out 8th Street, there was a truck going by, either one of yours or one of the DOTs for about a week and a half.
I sat on my porch and about every 2 minutes,
Yeah.
a dump truck would go by.
Yeah.
We ended up having 12 tandems and 2 loaders from the DOT. And then I brought my 2 grapple buckets in that fit on skid loaders, and the DOT brought a skid loader and used my grapple bucket. Well, they just returned it today. So, we had a lot of loaders and a lot of trucks, and then our 7 trucks hauling. But we hauled a lot of tons, and I'm glad we started burning when we did. They said like the city of Elkhart still has the brush pile from 3 years ago, and the city of Ames has a 6-acre brush pile right now. So. Free firewood. Well, thanks.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Hey, Tim.
I don't have anything to add to my report. Somebody's got any questions.
Thanks, Tim. Rick.
I don't have anything to report. I just say the same things that you guys did. So if you have questions, I'll answer.
Yeah. And if all of you can thank your departments too, like I asked Jeremy. I know every department stepped up big time.
We did get road use tax too. I just sent that out today. We got it today, and they're only estimating about a 10% reduction. So that was good news too. Could always be worse. I got a call from the auditors today. They'll be starting their audit in the next couple weeks, and they're going to be trying to do everything online. So we're going to have to send a lot of stuff and scan a lot of stuff. And so it'll be interesting. Have an SRS street finance report webinar tomorrow. They have new forms, so I've learned a little bit about them, but there'll be another course tomorrow. And I don't know if we've talked about the sign, city sign. Marlis put out an RFP for a new sign to see what those would be like. So we should have those here coming up.
Are the phones back up?
Today.
Wow, holy cow.
Like 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the lights just went flicker, flicker, flicker. Yeah, so fine.
And I think on the other end, it was just ringing. So a lot of people didn't know why no one was answering here, which is the frustrating part, that it didn't give them a warning or an error message or something.
Rang, yeah.
They weren't being ignored, it just wasn't ringing.
Especially when they couldn't come inside either.
And I told the people that they could either email message or come up and hit that button, so. Yeah. John. Thank you for doing those updates with Marlis every week. I think that helps people understand what's happening and when.
Those are great.
Aaron.
Nothing for me.
Okay. So with that, that's taken us through everything. So we can take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Dean and Jason, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And we'll see everybody Friday, 1 o'clock for the special meeting.